be a night, a hard-pressed night for the Everton defenders. Young Ben Godfrey, Seamus Coleman, Connor Cody, Tarkowski and Mikalenko. And with the referee getting us off and underway, the whistle from Darren England, this third round tie begins with Manchester United defending the goal away to the left-hand side, and Everton forcing a throw, and it will be taken in the left full-back position for United by Tyrell Malacia.
I imagine Frank, his last words would have been to send the players out thinking about attitude first and foremost. Performance comes once you've set up your performance with those early stages, the pressing, the hard work, the recovery runs, reacting to mistakes, being brave, all of those things. They set out as the basics, and then you just hope you can add that little bit of quality once players settle into a game.
Not only were the Everton fans singing "Sack the Ball," but the Manchester United fans were singing their songs about the Glazer family, who've been in charge at United for a long, long while now. They control over 70% of the club. It was ever that slow, the angst boards. It's not a modern phenomenon. And here's Manchester United's Thiago Dalot, regular pre-World Cup, taking a little bit of a time for him to get back into the swing of things in his Portuguese duty. In the midfield for Manchester United by Casemiro. And here is Rashford on the outside. And it's a decent challenge in the end by Amadou Onana, who had to time it right.
Yeah, good athleticism, get back in to make the challenge. Early signs from Everton that they are obviously going to sit in, no high press going on. Manchester United walk the ball up to the halfway line, and that may well be the pattern of the game, particularly while it remains goalless.
He has 7 goals in his 25 FA Cup appearances, does Marcus Rashford. Everton in comparison are shot shy in this competition. Mopé has 4, Damari Gray has a couple, Iwobi has 3. In decent form on the ball there, but he's given it away. Anthony played at the edge of the penalty, back by Martial, and Fernandes looks for Rashford again. And until he moves down the left-hand side, Godfrey will bring it away via Iwobi. Slip there. And here's Gray. Around, drawn out wide. Damari Gray tried to poke it through to Neal Maupay. Manchester United controlling the possession early on. Martial, Rashford to run Godfrey. Goes on the outside, and United take the lead after just 3 minutes. Anthony creeping in unannounced at the far post. Rashford's cross shot, he met and tucked it in. It's been all United and they lead.
And this really hurts you as an Everton side, because you're set up defensively. You don't really want to cross the halfway line, and then you get caught in a situation where your right-sided centre-back has to go and mark Rashford, shows him on the outside. Really interesting that he wants to have a foot race there with a Marcus Rashford in the form that he's in. See how wide he's staying there, ready for the ball to break him, knows they have the quality in midfield areas, and now you're one-on-one. This is horrible as a defender. You need some help. Can you show him inside into the bodies? You don't, you go outside. And then Cody just dropping in to play everybody onside. The ball ends up. But this is a tough situation as a defender. You've got to affect that cross, and when you don't, you're in trouble.
Anthony scores for Manchester United on his FA Cup debut. Slid in and touched it home. 4 goals he has now for United since the move from Ajax. A man brought up in a favela in Brazil called Little Hell, and it's a hellish night already for Everton. The gaps in that back 5 were alarming there, Matt, as Manchester United came forward. Yes, he took on Godfrey on the outside, but where was the right side cover centre-back? Where was the cover centre-back at the far post?
Yeah, and actually the whole move starts with Damari Gray making a pretty poor pass, although he'd made progress running with the ball, which he's going to need to do with the limited service he's likely to get. But even here, look at the retreat from Everton. Not going to change the fact that they've gone behind, because they know if they go chasing, they could be looking at a real hiding. This is your worst nightmare. Go behind early at Old Trafford against a Manchester United side banging form.
Two titanic FA Cup finals in the modern generation played between these two sides. We've talked about the Paul Rideout Hutch Jackson final of '95. Norman Whiteside, of course, won it for United a decade earlier. The youngest FA Cup final scorer he was at that time. Here's a problem for Idrissa Gana Gueye. One of the many players featuring tonight who's back from the World Cup finals. Here's Iwobi. His nation work there. Dewey didn't make it.
Look at the contrast of that Manchester United press and the effect that it has.
This could turn really ugly for Everton. Martial wide of Pickford's right post.
Might be one or two sitting uncomfortably in the director's box wearing Everton scarves. It's been a horrible first 5 minutes, almost as though everything that Frank Lampard might have said to them, everything they've worked up in the build-up just goes out of the window, almost like a panic situation.
Yeah, the finances gone. Channel for the new stadium. And Fahad Moshiri took over in February 2016. A new dawn was promised. It hasn't materialised. The new stadium will take them into a new dawn. But it's a dawn that is clouded at the moment.
It's pitch black. It's an ugly time, and it's horrible, because having had the honour of playing up there and knowing how much it means and what football on Merseyside means to everybody. We're talking about a game of football here. You've conceded an early goal. We've all done it in a career, and you have to respond. But it's amazing how this transmits, doesn't it, even to us as neutrals in this situation, that feeling that you get of, oh, this could be real trouble.
He was a lot tighter there on Rashford than he was for the goal. As you said, wondering how the straight foot was with Rashford in his sort of form at the moment. You can't do that, really.
And even there, Mote hasn't had a touch. That ball gets laid up to him. Got to hold that ball up on the halfway line. Give your side a chance to get up around you. Be brave enough to make some challenges. Allow your team to get up to the halfway line.
Jordan Pickford there being linked with a possible move to Manchester United. As a long-term replacement for David De Gea. I mean, the England #1 won't want to be there in a struggling side. Not season in, season out. They have brought Jack Butland in on loan from Crystal Palace. There's a cover for this man. Lovely little flick. And away it goes, and Manchester United on the attack with Anthony again. It's a scrappy sort of a pass, untidy. It's cleared away for Everton by James Tarkowski.
Real contrast there in that attack down the right-hand side there. Tarkowski in the foot race would have not fancied that as well. Martial was reticent to go on the outside.
Coleman is involved. They're playing very high up now. They've got Godfrey in now in the centre-back three, and Coleman pushed on as the wing-back. Here's Mikalenko. And Tarkowski. So strange to see them defending so poorly against Brighton the other night. These are good defenders. Cody, Tarkowski, proven defenders. And Everton all, let's see. Here's Eriksen. To Martial. This is Eriksen's first FA Cup tie, not in a Tottenham shirt, by the way. Those games in this competition came at Spurs. There's definitely Godfrey and Cody and Tarkowski. They can't get themselves going.
You can feel the nerves, can't you, in the players? They don't really want the ball, trying to shelve it off quickly. We've seen Mopé with that one touch, put it out of play. Little short pass there, going back to Cody. He can't obviously take a chance, kicks the ball out of play, gives up that possession. This is where they have to be brave. Get bodies forwards, run with the ball fine, don't give it away and be counter-attacked.
Mopé available, didn't use it. And he goes across to Rashford, wending his way across the face of the box again as Ericsson switches his to his left foot. Blocked in there though by Onana, and eventually White.
At least that time, despite the mistake, the play's forced back inside here. There you go, a bit more experience from Coleman coming in. There's the bodies, bit of athleticism, bit of bravery on blocking a shot. Got 6 players between the ball, and ultimately if someone's going to score with a half volley from 25 yards or so, then it's going to be really special. So better from Everton, not great, certainly not giving it away early to be counter-attacked. That's going to get you in trouble, but at least be resilient once you haven't got possession of the football.
Casemiro hasn't missed a minute of football since returning for the World Cup, by the way. 30 years of age now. What a wonderful player he's been in that role. It's cut back by Mikalenko. There's a league ever-present for Everton this season. Lost a couple of their League Cup games. Tarkowski, the league ever-present this season. People talked about Everton possibility of rotating, but you look at the squad and you think, 3, 4, 5 of them, injury worries. To Townsend, who's missed the whole season, and then Patterson, who's injured now, and then actually realise that Frank Lampard's squad is very, very thin.
And hence the fans' reaction, I think, is not a personal thing to Frank. Of course, he's big enough to accept responsibility and he'll want to put it right, but it is really difficult when you are limited by the personnel that you have available.
There's Mikalenko, Ukraine international. Gray has been in decent nick recently. Scored in their last 2. Gets the shot away this time, and it hits the post and bounces off the goalkeeper. That's why he's in good form, Demarai Gray. Given a chance like that, he's confident enough to go for goal.
And he should do as well. Opens up really nicely for him. Does he save the first one? David De Gea, does he get the right hand onto the post? It's a fine strike. Ricochet as it comes back, could have gone anywhere. They're the ones you need a bit of luck on. Can it end up in the back of the net from nowhere? Signs of life at last.
It is a corner. Nothing is going the way of Frank Lampard at the moment. In such moments, games, seasons, careers can turn. Gray with the corner kick. Well met inside that Manchester United penalty area from header away by Duran. Gray. It's a decent set-up header and a fine recovery again by Rafael Varane, the French international. But this is a good spell by Everton. Oh, De Gea's lost it, and it's forced in a horrible moment for the goalkeeper. And Conor Cody at a nothing is level for Everton. Miserable goalkeeping for David De Gea.
Incredible moment. Just where you need something from somewhere. Who's your goal scorer? Conor Cody. Never one to be predicted. Good centre-halves goal, poaching from a yard out. What on earth is David De Gea thinking? Incredible reaction from him to the ball at that near post. And now, just like the leader he is, Cody automatically thinking, they're a little bit deep, United. That's what gets them in trouble to start with. That looks offside, doesn't it, as it's played that little header forward.
Certainly like to be in an offside position at the start of that move. In it comes De Gea. He wasn't expecting the shot, perhaps, but he didn't get his body shape right. Mopé low towards the near post. That is horrible goalkeeping.
He never lets go of the post. I had no idea. That arguably could be a foul as well. You're taking a chance as the defender diving in. He never lets go. What's the deal with the post? Move your hands and you think he can catch that at knee height. It's a gift horse, and look at the relief there.
He's certainly offside as the move started. There is a VAR here today, by the way, Simon Hooper. There isn't a VAR at many an FA Cup tie to come in coming weeks. Here's Dalot. 1-1. Fernandes. And they had a decent 3 or 4 minutes there in the build-up to the goal. Done for Manchester United. Anthony. 2 men on him. Nikolenko. Fierce pressure from the Ukraine.
Yeah, good. Hustling for your mate, that's what you need, your teammate alongside you. Make some tackles. Look at all those blue shirts, like.
Towards Martial, trying to flick it off to Ericsson. Casemiro was again at the heart of that move, starting it off. Gray for Everton. Marvellous what a goal can do for you. There's a spring in the step for Everton players when they trudged out of the tunnel before kick-off, and after going 1-0 down in 3 minutes, they looked like a football club with a world of misery on its shoulders. Now they're perky again. Iwobi. Mopac. Back then towards Onana. That's given away too cheaply, and Rashford on the run. And Godfrey backing away from him, and Martial's available. That's a good piece of goalkeeping by Jordan Pickford because of the speed in which he came to the ball.
Yeah, just committed, didn't he? Got to be one or the other. Rashford is brilliant with the way that he sets the little pass up as well. Look at the pace, that's where the counter-attack's so dangerous. But just look how quickly he takes this little touch, and it's away, and it makes the defender's task impossible to get back. So you're relying on your goalkeeper. So many of the modern goalkeepers make that sort of save well now, spreading the body, saving with the legs.
Never kept a clean sheet in the FA Cup, Jordan Pickford. Hasn't played that many games to give credit over the years, only his 8th time. I hasten to add. Ericsson with the corner kick. It's a little bit statuesque when that came in. Shaw flicked it forward. Side, I think. Big save. And now another big name in goalkeeping circles, Jordan Pickford. It has always been the big time for him. Everton and Burton on loan, and Carlisle on loan when he was a Sunderland keeper. As you see that goal again, a goal that goalkeeper won't want to see again.
I saw him at Carlisle playing Pickford, and saw him have one of the worst games I've ever seen a goalkeeper have, so they can all do it. And had he made that sort of mistake, you can imagine the reaction of those Everton fans. So the very best do it. Relatively recently, David De Gea has had those sorts of moments himself. Is he going to be the Manchester United goalkeeper moving forwards? So they all go through it.
Relatively young for a goalkeeper at 32, David De Gea. Just one of the most bizarre goalkeeper mistakes I think I've seen them. Too spindly legged.
Especially as there was no pace on the ball. I say, he takes his hand off the post, he looks like he can catch it at knee height. Just one that he'll look back afterwards and still have no idea how it ends up in the back of his knee.
Basic promise for a goalkeeper, get as much as you can behind the ball. You have nothing behind the ball. It's a good setup here for United. Martial, blocked by Tarkowski. Chance deserved a better execution there. It was a great shot.
And it's a great ball from Luke Shaw, but Everton is so deep, and this is the problem. This is where you have to be brave. You think bodies behind the ball is a positive, but actually it adds as a negative as you drag everybody back towards that goal. Just allows the artistry to come out in an attacking side like Manchester United, and then when you do get possession, your mate stood next to you, you've got nowhere to go.
Well, Shalu got the winning goal in the 2015-16 semi-final between the two sides in the 90th minute. (1-1) because of the goalkeeping error. Mope rising. Eyebrows raised when Everton spent 11 million to buy him from Brighton. Didn't have a proven track record there, 27 in 109 games. But he's working hard for Everton. This is something you often can say about Neil Mope. He only has the one goal though. In the blue shirt for the Goodison Park club. Unless he scores goals more freely than that, the doubts are always remain. Anthony. Here's Dalot. Anthony just moving inside to give himself a couple of yards. I think it's an Everton throw, just deflected off Anthony, the young Brazilian, for whom I think the jury's still out.
Well, it looks reluctant here, doesn't he, to go on the outside. I always think if you're playing as a wide player or as a winger, test that full-back or wing-back early on, run down the outside. If you scare them with pace early on, they'll sit off you an extra yard. That gives you more flexibility to run inside or outside. But until you test them once, you never actually find out.
There's a big transfer fee hanging around his neck, Anthony, 80-odd million. It's a fearsome change, and Nana was in there. Samira was in there, and he stayed down. It was a hefty fall for him.
He slid into the challenge, picked himself up and was always slightly off balance. Just the follow-through catches him. Should pick himself up from this okay, it'd be a bit painful for the impact. Shimp had taken the force of that impact, but this is where you find out a little about players. Do you really fancy wearing that Everton shirt for the rest of this evening?
Started 10 of the last 11 games for Frank Lampard, Amadou Onana. A young player, signed from Lille, he only had a year there. I watched him regularly in League One football, and I have to be honest with you, Matt, I didn't think he was going to be one that went to the Premier League last summer, and he cost £34 million.
And that's the problem, when you try and fast forward success with spending, it can so quickly spiral out of control. And we talk about the pressures of the new stadium, which will be fantastic for the football club. As brilliant a place as Goodison is, it's certainly only of its time, unfortunately. But once you have the millstone, talk about Arsenal, Arsene Wenger, what they did with the finances around their stadium. Takes an awful long time.
Rashford. Here's Ericsson to Luke Shaw. So comfortable playing there, left side centre-back. He's gone laterally. Catching challenge there, and Rashford on we go. Reaching the midway mark in the first half. 1-1. First FA Cup tie played between the two at Old Trafford since 1983. It was a quarter-final. United won that day 1-0. Here's Varane.
The goal's really allowed Everton to revert to this defensive formation, hasn't it? They never really particularly looked like they were going fully on the attack when they went the 1-0 down, and the goals come out of nowhere. But this is a far more usual setup for what you'd have expected at the start of the game, and that for them in this setup is success. Now a hopeful ball going through to the goalkeeper. It's just these situations, can you keep any sort of sustained period of possession?
It's just, to me, simply didn't seem they had it sorted out in the first 3 or 4 minutes, that defensive setup.
Yeah, the fact that the best sides now hurt you on the counter-attack. This is the thing, it's very well been brave here. We know Pickford's got good distribution. At some point you've got to go long, and then you're just giving up possession. And if you're doing that for 90 minutes, it gets really hard work.
Hello. Here's Ericsson. Right then towards Malacia. Actually trying to help him on first time to maintain the momentum. Idrissa Gueye. Poor ball. Really poor at this level. That wasn't much better either by Casemiro. So as you said, even the greats can get it wrong.
Nana's had a few though. It wasn't his first in this game, and they're all in that dangerous central area as well. And you know that Manchester United will happily commit bodies forward and certainly have the ability that they can really hurt you.
Tarkowski, Manchester born. And away by Pickford. Looking for Iwobi. There's Mikulenko. Signed a year ago from Dynamo Kiev. And Idrissa Gueye. Iwobi has been a bright spark in otherwise damp squib of a season. Tarkowski fizzed that one forward. Too much pace on the ball to Nikolenko.
Yeah, don't mind it though. Nikolenko's going to be brave enough to get up there. Nice sort of encouragement to be given from Frank Lampard. Luke Shaw in possession now, very comfortable in this role, but I did quite like the fact that, certainly with the distribution Rashford has, if you're going to go and have Iwobi run onto Luke Shaw for those long balls, the one thing he's not going to do is dominate you aerially. Might be a little area that Everton can exploit.
Lampard has a love affair with this competition. He won it 4 times as a player. Knew the importance of tonight. A win could kickstart their season. But a hefty defeat would have been disastrous, and the way they're playing here is full of determination. It's a foul on Gray. Casemiro protesting.
Half slips into the challenge. It's definitely a foul because of the contact. Slips as he's about to make the challenge, I think. And the foot just goes underneath him.
Martial there, first man forward. He's past fit to play in this game, having come off in the win against Bournemouth. Anthony also has just returned to training following an injury. This is building up here between Rashford, Coleman. It was Rashford and Gordon originally, that Coleman sensibly pushing Godfrey, I should say, away from it.
And it's handbags, it's theatrical, but again, fans like to see this. Get everybody round, show you're a team, show you've got a bit of unity, don't do anything stupid and get yourself sent off. I think they just got tangled up on the floor, don't see anything malicious in it at all. Nothing that's going to carry on. But again, anything can just show that little bit of unity. You've just got to play like an acting game here.
The shirt was being tugged.
Rashford kicks the ball, but he's well off the pitch, doesn't he, when he makes the challenge.
Yeah.
A bit of Anglo-Saxon English, nothing in that whatsoever.
Godfrey was brought up in a feisty sports family. His dad Alex was a rugby player. Here's Ericsson. Really balanced Christian Eriksen. Now here's Rashford taking on Godfrey once again. Coleman doubling up. He played no part in that whatsoever, really. Coleman was bypassed. Fernandez was there with him and got caught. Amadou Onana. And he's pleading his innocence. Yellow. My first reaction was he ankle tapped him. He's got a yellow card.
It's good skill, and he doesn't stamp on him by any stretch, but he's never making contact with the ball, and it's late.
A bit naughty.
Yeah, I say if there's more pressure through the foot, then it becomes more dangerous. Good that the referee sees that though. It's an easy one for an official to miss. Gets it right. I'm not complaining, but it's the right decision.
Pick up yellow cards. Bruno Fernandez, as you've just seen there, the graphic at the top of your screen. Dallo. Just 9th in all competitions this season, Fernandez. Anthony. There's Ericsson. Shaw has plenty of time now. Malacia into the World Cup, didn't kick a ball. The Netherlands. Rashford. Again, Coleman and Godfrey on it. Trying to stop the threat of Marcus Rashford wide. It's a little bit like closing the stable door. It's 2 on for Dallo up in support. It's a goal kick. Approaching the half-hour mark. What have you made of it so far?
I mean, Everton are delighted to be level. Of course they're delighted to be level. They know they're up against it. You concede after 4 minutes. It's tough. It's about time for a character. OK, of course, there's a massive stroke of luck the way the goal comes with a horrible error. David De Gea. You see that pace down the outside, and that's where they've looked vulnerable, in that right channel, that right back channel. Seamus Coleman, Godfrey not quite twinned, but that's just a horrible moment. Great for Conor Cody, he'll accept those. And then they've been relatively brave. My worry for Everton is you can't just sit in against the very best sides. You have to, at some point, try and be brave in possession.
And you just know that snapshots of that, the video of the mistake by De Gea is winging its way around the world right now on social media. There's Bruno Fernandes. It's crept all the way through to Eriksen, plays it back to Anthony. The shot was blocked. So give some good positions, Anthony. Here's Gray. Good, fast, open FA Cup tie at 1-1 with half an hour play. Anthony going to wriggle it through, comes back to him. Back heel to Fernandes, little layoff. Malacia arriving, strong challenge by Iwobi. He tried to bring it away. Luke Shaw has won it back. Going well once more, Luke Shaw. That's a lovely ball into Bruno Fernandes. Might have done more with that. So Onana brings it away for Everton. The game is stretched at the other end. Demarai Gray. Mopé was calling for it through the middle. He's now gone offside. Gray, a little bit head down perhaps there. Here's Coleman.
That's fine though, he makes progress. That's where his pace is good in those wide areas, but this kills you when you've got half a dozen ahead of the ball now.
This is dangerous for Everton. Rashford with the carrot. Anthony to his right-hand side. He's gone for it. Awkward for Pickford. Veering a little bit, but certainly bouncing awkwardly.
Again, the counter-attack. Across the halfway line with numbers. Don't give the ball away cheaply. It's not a great ball to Iwobi. Gives it up, and look at his reaction, running back. Not good enough. Not when your side's struggling. Big wide open space. OK, it's going to be special to beat a goalkeeper like Jordan Pickford from there. And he should make that save.
8 attempts for Manchester United. Just the 3 on target. Everton scored from their 1 on target. And here's Dalot. A couple of games at the World Cup with Portugal. Anthony played 4 in all for Brazil. Malacia to Eriksen. To Luke Shaw.
Got to be brave enough to squeeze here. You'll hear Cody's voice a little bit. You'll certainly see him trying to push that line. Every yard you can steal gives you a chance just to exert a little bit of pressure on the ball.
Malacia, that's straight through to Pickford. There's Mikalenko. The 5th round last year. He played in the game against Boreham Wood. Right about Everton, they won it 2-0. Cody. The semi-finalist in this competition a couple of times, Conor Cody. There's Iwobi. Decent pass from him into Demarai Gray. And it's Everton's turn to counter with speed. Mikalenko. All the way through towards the far post, kept in by Coleman. Beyond that far post area, here's Iwobi. Godfrey comes forward. Bruno Fernandes made the challenge and got slammed into. Now Anthony with the pace to burn on the counter. Casemiro tries to switch to Rashford, got it wrong. And here's Iwobi. For Arsenal in the Cup against Chelsea in 2017, though he sat on the bench.
And the first time the game's got stretched, counter-attacks at either end. Interesting, Manchester United one came from Godfrey, surging forwards to the edge of the box and actually giving the ball away. A pretty poor challenge. See Fernandes hobbling there, it might well have been on him. It'd be interesting to see if the referee brings this back, because he plays one on a long time. the ball going out. It wasn't a great challenge, but he played the advantage.
Hello for Manchester United into Anthony. Malacia, 13.5 million signing in the summer from Feyenoord. Manchester United being linked with another player from the Netherlands, Mohamed Kudus. He was the Ghana World Cup starlet we were all talking about last month. Real promising World Cup. Dallo. Kudus was linked with Everton as well, wasn't he, for a long period?
Good in Nordland, bringing those players from the White's Dream Academy, good players, giving them grounding in Europe and then selling them on. They all go on to have fantastic careers, very often have that big next move in them as well. They're certainly very, very talented individual.
Academies like that springing up around the world now. There's one in Qatar. Hugely criticised, of course, for various reasons, Qatar, but they have had that sort of foundation up and running in all sports for the last number of years now. So it's not a new thing. Clairefontaine, of course, in France, for years and years and years. Here's Varane. Oh, he skipped beyond his man. And he run from the centre-back, poked in by Casemiro. Referee's clearance wasn't convincing. Malacia. And Fernandes tried to chop it back through the middle. And Everton finally cleared away, 1-1. The stoppage time, I'd say about 10 minutes to go.
I think Erik ten Hag will actually be pretty disappointed with his team. Certainly in the final third, I think they've been sloppy. That's good play. Way too easy, slipping past. Should not be that easy to get past Idrissa Gueye. Forced the play back. But that final selection has not been good for Manchester United in the final third.
Idrissa was part of the summer spending at Everton, and yes, they spent £82 million. For where they are in the league is not good enough, but few eyebrows raised about Everton from Everton fans about the return of Idrissa Gueye. He's been subbed in 6 of his last 7 games. World Cup weariness as well, World Cup anticipation before he went away and then weariness afterwards. We'll be looking at a replay. Will we be looking at replays in years to come? Reading the cloud signals to come out of today's meeting between the top brass of English football. It seems very unlikely. It seems that the days of FA Cup replays are numbered. The Carabao Cup, the League Cup, I think, the future of that is being overshadowed. There's some talk of it becoming a competition for under-23 sides if your club was in Europe. Here's Everton. I can really dream of Europe these days, but that was offside anyway, wouldn't have counted.
I understand the logistics, but I think FA Cup replays going out. OK, Manchester United playing, clear offside as we see there, Manchester United playing Everton in the third round FA Cup replay. Not too much in it, but Chesterfield playing Manchester United in an FA Cup replay. There's a little bit more to that time.
There are more than just 20 clubs in the English football pyramid, many of whom depend on the FA Cup for their very existence. Many of us, our treasured memories of this competition are with lesser clubs. Here's Dallo. Rather Anthony was. Casemiro. Everton have done a decent job in the last 20 minutes or so since coming back into this team. Come on, Ericsson. Now they're stretched. Went to bend it beautifully, just over.
Great technique. He'll be disappointed because he's got a big margin for error to hit the target here. game, players out of play. He takes that touch, he's going to expect someone to come. You can use the defender, Cody, to bend the ball round. He'll be disappointed. He just gets underneath that ball, as we see. Look how much space is there beyond Pickford's right hand. Can take some pace off for accuracy. Give him that in training, he'd expect to score more than he misses.
Former cup winner in Holland with Ajax, as was Erik ten Hag in his days there, won it twice. Martial, Rashford, Coleman, Iwobi, didn't look. Squandered possession in that area of the field too many times, Everton, really. 4.5 to go at the regulation 45. A good cut time.
Yeah, you're absolutely right to point out it's breaking down that midfield area for Everton, and I know it's tough because you haven't often got places to go with the passes, the options going forward, but you've got to be brave enough, and they've given it away many times in there. It leaves you susceptible to the counter-attack.
Rashford drilled the switch. The ball away to Anthony. He's there with him again. So too for Everton was Idrissa Gueye. Gets through a lot of work unnoticed in a game. He's 33 years of age now, but he's still coming on the ground. He was part of that team that lost at Everton, lost it to Millwall that day 3-2. A couple of very good cup runs to the quarter-finals under Neil Harris, who takes Gillingham these days. They're home to Leicester tomorrow. They beat the likes of Leicester and Bournemouth and Everton, Watford in those 2 runs. Millwall fans have their own love affair with the FA Cups. Do away with all the empowerment for the clubs at your peril. And Charles' ball was cut out. Ray done really well. He's carried a long way, tried to find Onana. Maybe the better ball was switched through to Mopé.
Well, he's had a couple been frustrating, but he's a shining light, isn't he, for Everton in terms of the energy and the pace that he injects into those counter-attacks. Whenever they can get in the ball, great that he comes alive when possession turns over, so he can get it and start running. It's one way to get the play stretched. This man can do it too, though.
I felt that was handball. And we go. There's Mopé. A couple of times in the game he's taken up useful positions, but hasn't been fouled. Finds Iwobi. 43rd minute. 1-0 Manchester United after 3 minutes. Many people have seen this scoreline this late on in the half. Here's Iwobi. Force it wide to Coleman, but a little deflection stopped the path of the ball. Actually, might have done him rather good because he had too much pace to pass. He's proved a few people wrong in recent months. And the money from Arsenal, £34 million, and it looked like a flop, didn't it, for a long period. Easy Iwobi to pressurise Rashford from the wrong side, couldn't make a challenge. And let's see back to Eriksen. Rashford, too much space there. Can he use it? Goes to his left foot. Knocked in there by Tarkowski. Malacia pressurised by Iwobi. Martial. Anthony Martial. Eriksen. Varane. Trying to find Anthony. And maybe now Everton could break if they've got a confidence to do so. He slipped at the wrong moment. Mopé was fouled by Casemiro.
Tomorrow just got clipped in the challenge. He'll be fine. Certainly don't need to see him going off. He's got a bit of trickery. His feet are quick. Gets them out again. Casemiro just slipping into the challenge.
Well, Millwall theme to this. Demarai Gray was in the Leicester team, beaten at Millwall in 2017 in the round of the 5th round, I should say. A bit casual at the back, Everton. Here to Idrissa Gueye. Haven't done that well at all. And he chases after his own pass. Here's Eriksen now. For the last 20 seconds, there will be stoppage time, of course. Casemiro with space. Dallow's off and running, which means there's a gap out here to Anthony. Dallow. 2 minutes of stoppage time announced. Away for Everton.
Dallow's got to put that ball in first time. He gets laid back to him. He had a look up. He's going to see the red shirts lined up on the 6-yard box and whip that ball across with some pace. Hasn't been as fluid down this right-hand side as it has down the left.
There's Martial. Tarkowski there with him. It'll be a late first half corner kick for Manchester United. Chuntering away there, defenders and attackers alike. Casemiro, Gay hands on. And the referee seems to lay off it a little bit.
The pointless chat, as it's often referred to.
Yeah, because they do it all over again. Comes that corner kick for Manchester United. Anthony, good touch, Ericsson. Shaw bending it to the far post area. Decent defending back in there by Godfrey. Can Everton hold on here for the remaining 20 seconds or so? Mope makes the challenge. Where's he going to go? Godfrey didn't thank him for that and whacked it away. Calm down, says Connor Cody. Half-time, Matt, what have you made of it? 1-1.
Well, the goal came right at the right time. The circumstances, as strange as they were great for Everton, because Manchester United exploited a sense of nervousness early on, looked very sharp, and I think they'll be disappointed, actually, with the way that they've performed. So they should be better, but Everton at least have a little bit of life.
1-1, De Gea's howler, the talking point of the first half, sees Frank Lampard's team level through that Cody equaliser, cancelling out the Anthony early goal. 1-1 at the break. And Everton given that gift of an equaliser by David De Gea. The great artist Lowry used to picture matchstick men and matchsticks, cats and dogs, and he did his best impression of a matchstick man at that near post, didn't he, really? He didn't move his body at all, he got it all horribly wrong. And Everton were back in the game. Manchester United with pace, wide on their left-hand side to trouble Frank Lampard's side. Mind you, I remember an Everton right back with Matt Jackson in the FA Cup final facing a very dangerous couple of players. Lee Sharp backed up by Dennis Irwin, and Ryan Giggs come off the bench, and you rode that storm.
Yeah, fortunately had Neville Southall in goal. That made a big difference.
He had a wonderful game that day, didn't he?
It was absolutely outstanding.
Everton won that FA Cup by a goal to nil. They haven't won at the competition since then. It's a long time since they won the league, back in 1987. Manchester United have their own trophy drought as well. 2017 they won the League Cup. As we got the second half off and underway here, Manchester United in the red and white, kicking from right to left. Encouraging start they had, and then they left their shooting boots behind somewhere. There's Malacia, no change by the manager, though I can see at the start of the second half. Coleman comes across to meet Rashford, Iwobi doubling up. Clever ball played in behind Martial. And back to Bruno Fernandes. A touch on by Dallow, supported very well from right back for United. Anthony teasing Mikalenko. Dallow. There's 14 on the edge of the box there, but I think Anthony will look here for Casemiro. He's given it away. Good work by Iwobi to anticipate that. He's motoring away here. Lopez in the middle for Everton. Just Dwelton didn't see the challenge coming of Malacia. He's gone down appealing for a free kick. He's hurt. I think he's genuinely hurt on the ankle. No foul's been given, I don't think.
It's great pace from Malacia to get back. Oh, that's a horrible one. You don't want to see that one in slow motion. Look away now, please, because that turns right over that foot. That's a painful one. The challenge is strong. It's great defending. But when your weight is going through that ankle, that's horrible.
You can see the concern from the Everton players straight away for Alex Iwobi. He turned over on that right ankle. We have seen free kicks and indeed yellow cards pulled out for follow-throughs on challenges this season. More last season, to be fair.
I think he gets round him enough that he's tackling almost from the front again rather than from back and side. The trouble is when you turn it over in these circumstances as a player, is he there? What's the contact on the ball like early? It's coming from the back. You can't protect yourself, you're not expecting it to happen, so your natural movement is different. It's horrible. It's just a movement that the ligaments aren't used to. That's where the immediate pain comes in. That's not acting. That is a very, very genuine reaction.
Lampard amongst the many today paying their respects to Gianluca Vialli, and it would be remiss of us not to mention the legendary Italian striker who passed ridiculously early, 58. Passed earlier on today after his battle with illness over the last couple of years. And I knew Gianluca from days covering Chelsea very closely on the radio and also television, following them through his cup campaign. He was a very, very fine footballer, we know that, for club and country wherever he went. And he was a super striker at Sampdoria, and on he went from there to Juve. But more than that, he was an elegant human being, a very generous, spirited human being. A lovely man. He was just a real gentleman, Gianluca Vialli. I was privileged to know him. Today. And my thoughts are with the family and those who knew him and loved him dearly, and I know that Frank was one of those. 3.5 gone in the second half, 1-1, and this looks like a change coming up for Everton. We've lost too many too young recently. Here's Decore about to come on, I think, for Everton now. What difference will this make to them, Matt?
Well, possibly, you might argue it's the long-term effects of a scene like this that nobody likes to see on a football field. That ankle turning over, not good. The instant pain. The fact that Manchester United have offered the services of some of their medical personnel as well. Horrible. Players getting stretchered off. This is Frank Lampard's worst nightmare. This is where that dilemma of, do I go with a weakened team because I can't afford the injuries, but I also can't afford to have a drubbing. Everton supporters must be wondering what they have to do to catch that bit of luck. Generally buoyed by that first half performance, but this is a horrible scene for them. We hope that's not a season ender, because he's been a big player for them.
He won the Everton fans over after those sticky early months following the big money move from Arsenal. I'm delighted Decore will come on for him. And the Watford man who's had 3 starts this season. He's runner-up in this particular competition, the final that Watford want to forget the day they lost 6-0 at Wembley. Biggest ever defeat in a Wembley FA Cup final.
Question why he's not ready. All of that time, it's just little details. Everton have got 10 men now, so they can't bring him on. They've got a player down. It's pretty obvious early on he's going to be stretched off, and you can't make the substitution. Seamus Commons, he knows that has to happen, and these are the sorts of details that you've got to get right. There's an excuse for many things in football, but these little areas of professionalism can be so critical.
Yeah, Patrick wouldn't have had it, Joe Roy wouldn't have had it, Howard Kendall wouldn't have had it. The game has changed these days. Old school, they'd have had him ready to come on. And here's Anthony from Manchester United. Some pace on him. 22, the young Brazilian. Casemiro. He is a senior. I'm sure somewhere in between. Here's Varane. Next goal. important, not just for this particular one cup tie, but also perhaps for the season of both these clubs. Here's Rashford. Low ball in, own goal. United lead 2-1. And Cody has scored at both ends.
Not his fault here again, but they don't learn from Rashford for the first goal. And this time, Seamus Coleman, and he should know better because he's never getting close in a foot race. Unfortunately for him, he doesn't get done once, he gets done twice, and then it's just the pace on the ball coming back that gives Cody no chance. This is what Rashford does brilliantly. Stands right out there, horrible as a fullback. Got to be the other way round, Coleman there, getting back inside to the bodies. Can't move his feet quickly enough. You have to go for it as a central defender there in the 6-yard box. That's so clever. Ball manipulation outstanding. People might think it's unlucky, but that's just great play from Rashford.
Turned him inside out. Cody stabbed it beyond Pickford, who had no chance. And Erik ten Hag's side are ahead again. And led after 3 minutes of the first half there. 2-1 up early in the second. The question is why there was so much space for him. You're playing a back five. Why is your right wing back drawn so far into the middle? Surely, Matt, a central defence, central midfield. If you need bodies back in the middle to go with your 3 centre backs, you put a defensive midfield player in there.
And he had time to switch his body position as well to show him back in the middle. He cuts in on his right foot, bends it around Pickford and finds that far corner. Well done to him. But the chances are, because of the way you've set up, you're going to be forcing him into bodies. If you get beaten on the outside, as you see there, you're dead, because even if Cody doesn't go for that, the chances are it's a tap-in for someone coming in behind him. Force the play inside. That's why you've set up that way.
Had to go for it, Cody. One of the most honest players, I would suggest, in the game. You know him particularly well, I think, and honest soul, isn't it?
Yeah, he's an organiser. Will actually relish this sort of situation, pitting his wits, being big enough to be the organiser, to steal that yard, to put the pressure on. So that'll hurt him. You see from his reaction, also sees the bigger picture of understanding pressure that it brings back onto Frank Lampard, what it does to those supporters, what it does to his teammates, coming off the back of that injury as well.
Now Manchester United are buoyed, and Anthony gets the shot, stretches Pickford's fingers once again.
A bit disappointed. He does move the ball beautifully when it's at his feet. Very, very natural. Probably just enough pressure on to make him snatch at the shot. Good chance to wrap his foot around that one.
Goalkeeper got everything behind it. Take note. He's such a, again, he's an honest character, De Gea. He won't shy away from that. He'll know he's made the mistake, he'll confront it and move on. And he'll played it the way through. The reason I'll say that to you, everybody, is because earlier on in the season they lost at Brentford 4-0. You remember they'd already been beaten home by Brighton, and he came out and he wanted to speak to the media. He made a bad mistake like that, David De Gea. He wasn't shying away. I will explain my mistake. I will apologise to the fans. I will take it on board. I was mightily impressed with him that day, because there were other players, captain for example, who could have done it and didn't.
Obviously, in the days of social media, there's one or two will always have their say without logic, but football fans know in general to respect. You hold your hands up, accept you've made a mistake. There's enough knowledgeable people, you can't kid everybody. Hold your hands up, move on, know it matters, and that's normally enough for most people.
Eriksen brilliantly kept in by Anthony in the first place. Manchester United are purring right now. Rashford, Messi's ahead of him. Rashford took it on an extra yard before he blocked, and that's going to be an Everton throw. Going back to that game against Brentford, several Manchester United players didn't try a leg that day. Today, 2-1 up against Everton, they are all putting in a big shift. Erik ten Hag take a bow.
Yeah, and the fact that you're playing Luke Shaw as a left centre-back and you've got Harry Maguire sat on the bench, big decisions to make. The money that's invested there, irrelevant all of a sudden, because it's about performance. Being able to discipline Marcus Rashford, as I say, at the top of the show, a huge statement from a manager. What a brilliant thing to do, what a brilliant piece of man management. But it also helps when you get rewarded, A, with a performance when he comes off the bench for the winner like he got at Wolves, and then continued good performances off the back of it.
He'll be doing it again in a hurry. He benefited all round that day. Here's Martial. Good challenge by Onana. He was the wrong side to make that challenge, but made sure it was okay. Carlo, Anthony, Ericsson wants it central midfield area. We're in 14. There's Varane. Ericsson nominally was going to be a little bit deeper today with Casemiro, but because Everton sits so deep at times, look, he can play within, what, 20 yards of that penalty area.
Just moved the ball slightly quicker, Manchester United, and it's made it really tough for Everton. Just been a bit sharper.
There's Malacia. And Rashford, who's been outstanding. Stage like this, Everton know they'll have to pick themselves up and get all 3 points at home to Southampton, and they've got a West Ham, Arsenal at home, Liverpool away, Leeds at home, and then Villa at home. Manchester United have a frightening fixture list to come. If they go all the way in all their competitions, Europe, Carabao, FA Cup, they could face 38 more games in 148 days. Anthony, Bruno Fernandes, Hazard again, and down off the ball, Bruno Fernandes seemed to run into Onana. Not sure there was anything more in it than that. There's no one else appeared.
A bit of respite for Everton though. Looks like the Iwobi injuries really rocked them a bit. Obviously the goal going in as well, but they can't break the play up particularly. It's been tough for them. And we saw them getting a bit of a counter-attack coming now. Can you get a pass in? Can you be brave enough to play forward and make ground? It's just pressure.
Around the corner from Coleman. Rashford has tormented them at times. It's a free kick with a little nudge on Abdoulaye Doucouré. I felt he handled the ball on the ground, which he did, but the referee had already blown. A sound game down in England, I think the referee. No?
Maybe just the possible foul in the build-up to the Everton goal.
Yeah,
might be the only contentious moment.
And was it the same phase of play as well from when Cody was clearly in an offside position? I mean, he didn't affect because he could score the ball.
No, it's not affecting. It's not affecting play in the modern world.
Impacting. It's not an impact scenario protocol situation. Now play. Corner ball for Manchester United for the third time.
Yeah, and Everton might actually have accepted. There's a goal deficit with half an hour to go. If you're the same after 75 minutes, you can have a bit of a go. Might just have accepted that at the start, as defeaters as it may seem.
There's no attack. Need to run the starts, need to run the goals. Okay, and holding it up. And that's a smart turn. There's a player in there, I think, Malacia. Rashford's caught. Got through the offender, the yellow card.
Rightly as well. I'm not sure if that's really as a result of the previous contretemps on the touchline. It's a horrible one as well for Rashford because he's kicking through. Probably he's aware that it's coming. Just see there, he's already on. More painful ones, they can hurt you. It's poor really from Godfrey. Knows what he's doing, leaving his foot in there, and it's high as well. Higher up, actually at second look than it looks from the other angle. It looks like he catches the boot. He actually catches up on the shin there. That's not a good challenge.
It's his first appearance since the 22nd of October against Chelsea. He's out for a while with a broken fibula early on in the season. Dennis has gone in the cup actually. Ben Godfrey was the quarter-final. There's Bruno Fernandes. Anthony, Bruno Fernandes. To cover and get it away, but not really get it away was Doucouré. The reason I mentioned that Ben Godfrey running the cup to quarter-final stages because when he played for Norwich against Manchester United in the quarter-final of 2020, he impressed so much that day. Everton went for it. There's a shooting opportunity for Malacia. Off complaining.
Not sure whether he's looking for a booking or because the play stopped. Could have been an advantage, but unfortunately from an Everton perspective, well, it's certainly not really going to be a booking there, but from an Everton perspective, any time the play stops, it actually helps them, allows them to settle. Get players a little bit further forward in formation because they struggle to get out of the half since that injury, that unfortunate injury to Iwobi.
Neil Milton was asking the Manchester United player then, didn't you think that was a booking? I don't know what reply he's going to get. I didn't think it was a booking myself, and neither did you. But he's like that, Milton, it's the way he plays. Agitates defenders. He's involved with the referee, here he is. Once or twice he's done a good hold-up job.
That's good play. That is good play, exactly what he's out there for. Been tough, of course it's tough because you're isolated, service up to you is poor, you know you're unlikely really to get a chance presented to you.
Challenge on him there by Shaw, but the referee says go on. Doucouré has it, Gray's on the edge of the penalty area. Doucouré still goes on. Varane screen stops a Coleman across the face of goal, and away it goes by Dalot as Mikalenko tried to force in the rebound, and Everton all of a sudden again, as in the first half, spring back to create danger from nothing.
What a chance for Mikalenko, and I love the fact that he was up there. He made the effort to come in from the other side, did everything right. He just swipes at it with his right foot and gets it all wrong.
Under pressure, Dalot got the header away. Bruno Fernandes can only clear as far as Doucouré. Now here's Onana. It's going to be a corner, I fancy, although did De Gea keep it in? He did, and he's looking to release very quickly. Good run here by Doucouré, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're thinking, oh, could it be penalty? Again, a bit lucky, that's a great foot. And, oh, just the pace of the ball. De Gea gained that luck. The little deflection from the goalkeeper, does it set up nicely? It doesn't, it goes with pace to Mikalenko. Just can't get the necessary contact.
Actually trying to get his way beyond Doucouré. Not too sure he could get out of the way there, but the free kick's been given for obstruction.
Sharp little nutmegs, look at the quality there.
Yeah, it was a hands-on by Doucouré. I imagine that the likes of Bissaka and Maguire, Lindelof and one or two others would come into the United side to play Charlton in the Carabao on Tuesday as Dominic Calvert-Lewin's ready to come on for Everton. But first they have to defend this set piece. 20 minutes gone in the second half. Eriksson. Fernandes will have a go from there. Whistling. Pushed over by Pickford, he's had a good go.
Yeah, another save you'd expect to make. It's a fine strike. Just be a little bit of movement, as we see, just swerving slightly in the air. Taking no chances, just helping the ball, the pace of it, helping it on its way over the bar.
Manchester United's lead. Rashford in there. It's particularly tight on Varane. He could easily slip Doucouré from where he is If he'll peel off to his left-hand side. Now he goes near post, then he peels away. Seen that a couple of times in the game. Shaw. Here's Rashford. He's caught. He thinks Decore thought it was a dive. He should get a yellow card. Who's it going to go to? Defender or attacker? It's Decore.
It's a bit of a lunging challenge. Does he move the ball quickly enough? Of course he moves the ball quickly enough. His awareness is so good. Doesn't even matter where it goes. Knows that the contact's coming, rides the challenge. Such good natural footballing instincts from Rashford.
That's made me chuckle, that is actually, the fact he's claiming he dived. I'm not too sure there was that much contact, but it was a foul.
It was about 6 foot from the ball though, wasn't he? That's the trouble. By the time he got there.
Approaching the midway mark of the second half, final quarter of the game. Christian Eriksen. Right foot straight at Jordan Pickford. It's on. Who's on for him to release quickly? No one is the answer. Tarkowski for Everton. Onana. Steered it round the corner. A decent game. Liverpool wanted it played through there in the middle of Malacia. Slipped or been pushed. And it's run back easily by Anthony. Off he goes and he's pulled out.
It should be a booking. That's a cynical one. Mikalenko knows he's getting caught upfield. If you don't get booked there, you know you've got away with one. I'm sure I'd want to be on a yellow card facing Anthony. Quality that he's got on his feet.
Why look on the face of Neil Maupay as he departs to be replaced by Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Just think, with a career scoring rate of 94 in 326, one in every 3.5, it's not going to be the goal scoring answer for Everton, Neil Maupay.
And the trouble is when you're spending, when you look at what everybody else is spending, and you look at what it takes to get the top assets. Was it, you mentioned £11 million or something like that? Peanuts relatively by Premier League standards. Are you necessarily surprised at the outcome? That's the trouble. Probably Everton fans would argue they have too many in various guises up and down the pitch. They've paid big money for collectively once it's all added up together. But the sum of it means that it's still an underperforming, an underwhelming team. It's a horrible situation to be in on the blue side of Merseyside.
What they have in Dominic Calvert-Lewin since 200th Everton appearance. As a player who's missed 30 matches in the last 3 years. He's another who needs a run of games, a run of fitness and a run of goals. Because at one stage he was a regular in that England squad. Seems a lifetime ago now. United are going to make a couple of changes as well. Fred's getting ready, I can see, to come on, and Garnacho as well. De Gea. Augusta passes away, lofted away to Eriksen. Changes. Casemiro will go away to be replaced by Martial. Alejandro Garnacho is the second player to come on for United. He's to the right hand side, the 18-year-old. From Madrid, Spanish under-18, but an Argentine under-20. Done well for them, scored 4 goals in 5 appearances at that level. Mum comes from Argentina. Effectively, he replaces Martial, really.
Yeah, he's a talented boy. Saw him in the Youth Cup last year. He was absolutely excellent.
A lot of promise.
Getting the first taste now with the big boys. To have that impact, be blooded in the right way, in the right games, encouraged to go and attack.
Two goals in his 12 appearances this season for Manchester United. And the attack immediately. Bruno Fernandes looks for Garnacho. A bit of a slip, but he's ready to turn and twist. Nothing doing there for him, though.
Against the old guard, Seamus Coleman. Not going to be letting the whippersnapper have a yard. Bit of pressure. Certainly a contrast in ages there and experience levels.
Comes out. The threat Dominic Calvert-Lewin. A bit of a mix-up there for Manchester United. They're not safe in this cup tie yet. Trying to steer away from Decore. There's Fred. He's highly valued for his country, Brazil, I think, than he is at Manchester United, or has been. Off the bench now in all 5 games since the World Cup, Fred. Only 4 games in Qatar for Brazil. He was lucky enough to do that game against the Korean Republic when they were unbelievable for 45 minutes. The best 45 minutes played by anyone in the World Cup finals, to be honest. It was simply sublime, and then it all went wrong. And the corner from Calvert-Lewin. That's a lovely touch by Graham, back to him by Coleman, and Manchester United are suddenly stretched. Calvert-Lewin maybe should have held deep, but Gray's done really well. Calvert-Lewin is forcing it. 2-2. But he did the right thing. He timed his run perfectly. They've done it again, they've come back into it. He scored a 95th minute equaliser in the 3-3 draw here in February 2021.
Brilliant from Seamus Coleman. Yeah, is that going to be looked at, that little touch there? But Seamus Coleman again carries on, and it's that run because it distracts players. The best centre-forwards know where to go to get goals. Just throws his chest onto the ball. What a moment this could be for Everton. Best player on the night gets the assist. Ball drilled into the chest.
He's been told to go and check it.
It's that little pass forward. Coleman going back, he bursts through the middle. Probably doesn't feel like he's got the pace. The irony is not lost on those Everton fans. Coleman bursting through the middle, just lays the ball off. And it's a bootlace, as it is in the modern way. The width of a shin pad.
Remains 2-1. An impact that would have been by Calvert-Lewin, 5 minutes having come on.
Cup still matters, look.
Always give a great day out for the two teams who go to Wembley for the final. Garnacho. Swept away by Fred. Good ball. Fallow with the cross. One of Everton's players facing their own goal. Here's Eriksson. 6 blue-shirted defenders in the box. Still United find space for Dallow's cross. Away by Godfrey. Calvert-Lewin's given it away. Dallow again, high aloft this time for Bruno Fernandes to head it back. Godfrey got it out. It was Mikolenko who got it out. Anyway, Everton clear nonetheless. It was Cody.
Yeah, it does look a great challenge. So I think it's all ball in the challenge. It's the ugly one. You don't see challenges like this. The studs will be showing, I think. Cody honest. It's the follow through again. You made that point earlier, Jonathan. You see many bookings done that way. There's a full contact on the ball. It's not malicious, but there's contact on the follow through as well. Wow.
Doing just what he needed as well. Martinez has come on for Manchester United from Malasia, which means that Luke Shaw will go to left back again, you'd have thought.
That's unbelievable. I mean, you look at Everton and Frank Lampard not losing to Manchester United and all of those statistics, and that literally is a toenail that is offside there. Incredible.
Martinez, the World Cup winner, is on for Manchester United. Great. Everton's best player by a considerable margin.
There's one or two signs of frustration from Manchester United players.
And Fred getting involved with Coleman. Well, lip reading there, the language wasn't good. I know a lot of you, wherever you're watching around the world, want to see the visual dissent cut out. Martinez on for the second time since the World Cup finals. He had 3 minutes against Bournemouth the other night. The nana for Everton, he's had a stronger second half of his game. I said in the first half I didn't see much of Onana to suggest when he was at Lille he'd be a very good Premier League player, but he is only 21. Good enough to play for Belgium in Qatar. And I think there is a player in there, certainly still very young. Here's Mikalenko. Just a game from there.
Never set, was it? Never really had the ball out of his feet. Always going to be a tough chance, but it's come off the back of another good spell for Everton, making tackles. The one thing they've done is played with a bit of pride. Horrible early on, felt nervous in the early stages. That early goal looked like it really rocked them, but actually since then they've made some tackles. We expect them to be solid, and you've got a Cody in there. Tarkowski obviously knows his way around the league really well, so you expect them to be relatively solid, but now they can be a bit more expansive. They've certainly showed a little bit of gumption, a little bit of guts and fight for each other, a bit of voice from the fans. Signs, limited signs of encouragement.
This is the guys that scored since September 21 against Man City for PSG. 4 attempts on target Everton in the game. Manchester United only had 5. What do you make of young Onana in the Everton midfield?
He's a physical specimen, he's a good player. You can't fluke the career he's had so far at the age that he's had. I think it's been a bit untidy, particularly in the first half. He's probably experiencing an atmosphere on a football field like he's never experienced before, and the pressure he probably hasn't. And how you respond to that and how you grow through it will probably determine how good a player he actually turns out to be.
That car originally, but started his career in Europe with Hoffenheim, Hamburg. I think a decent size of Hamburg, where he's struggling in recent years. 10 to go, a little bit more. By Anthony, Fred is there. It's not a good ball. Away for Everton by just a guy. They've been positives for Everton. I certainly think Gray has played well. This will be twist and turn by Anthony. Got some skill.
His pedigree is outstanding. Doesn't surprise you. The teams that he represents. Probably would have felt like he could impact the game a little bit more. I certainly think he'll have to find a way of running down the outside of a player, or certainly addressing the space on the outside. You see Martial, you see Rashford, and he's pulled out to the left-hand side, how much width he gave himself. This is a good sign for Everton fans.
Anthony Gordon on. Seamus Coleman departs. And Mikalenko also going off. And Dwight McNeil replaces him. Signed in the summer from Burnley, and he missed one league game this season. I once saw his dad, Matty, play. He played for a lot of clubs in the northwest. I can't remember who it was for, but a long time ago. Again, brought up in a sporting background, like young Ben Godfrey. off the ball now for Everton. Chasing it. 9 minutes to save American Cup existence this season.
Defending bodies again around Rashford. Certainly Frank taking the shackles off a little bit. You can only interpret those substitutions as attacking ones. The freedom with 10 minutes or so to go and chase the game down. Doesn't really matter now. They'll have identified that, experienced enough obviously to, even if it's 3 or 4 at this stage, doesn't matter, at least they've had a go. Go down chasing the game. Don't go down weakly, that's all Everton fans ask.
Correct. You see Gordon back from him, he's missed a couple through illness. Gray. Comes across into that penalty by McNeil. He's had that left-hand touchline since coming on. Coming on for Manchester United. Is the other one. So Anthony will depart here. Does a future hold for Harry Maguire, one feels. 2 league starts since they had that awful game at Brentford. A decent World Cup with England. Scott McTominay. Manchester United through and through.
Probably the best compliment really to be paid to Everton is that these are defensive substitutions because of the ones that Frank has just made. They're certainly not clinging on Manchester United by any stretch. A bit of flair has departed.
Six and a half minutes to go. Tommy on then for Manchester United, defensive midfielder. Alongside Fred in there. In front now of Maguire, Varane and Martinez. Whether or not this is the 490th game of a career that sees him still in his late 20s, you know, Harry Maguire, but you wonder whether, because of the way Ten Hag has used him, he plays a role in his long-term thinking.
Well, you'd certainly have to suggest that wouldn't be the case because they're at such a massive point of the season and he isn't in the team, so you've got Luke Shaw, whatever way you're playing the side, you certainly can't say it was a weak selection. You've got Luke Shaw playing, he's playing down the left side, but it's still part of that back four. Where does he go? That's the thing. There's a natural move from Manchester United, not easy.
Slips away from Godfrey's touch, is good. Corey. Gray. Corey to goal, that's a lovely touch to Godfrey. I'm not out of this yet. Corey, only 2 in the middle. Had to wait. Godfrey joining in. Touch was heavy enough to put Martinez under pressure. But he just cooks the ball out of play.
Good defending on all counts. You're absolutely right about the touch from Godfrey. He takes it on the other foot, it probably straightens him up. He goes back down the outside. If he takes it the other way, puts far more pressure on. Martinez body, and that experience that he's got. Everton are still in it. They will get another chance.
He won 72% of aerial challenges this year, Martinez. People criticise the fact he's 5'9" when he first came into the side. The great, I should say, Fabio Cannavaro was 5'9" and World Football of the Year. One of my favourite players of all time. I was on the beach in, just name dropping here, on the beach in Rio in 2014, and He was working for the same television station I was, and he came into the studio and down on the beach, and I was absolutely gaga. Here's Rashford. That goes for a corner kick, but my picture taken with Cannavaro. Oh, shameless.
I look forward to seeing that at some point. You and your leopard skin budgie smugglers.
Yeah,
lovely.
The thong, actually. But anyway, here's Rashford. Forces that corner.
Sharp, playing down the centre now. Still down those channels.
Lovely run, wasn't it?
Balance. Just a player right at the top of his game.
3 minutes to go. Fernandes with the chip in. Oh, Martinez got caught there by Oath was sort of sliding into it, gets a yellow.
He's just like a bit of fatigue at this stage. They've done an awful lot of chasing without the ball. Reckless with that sliding, he's off balance, never making that.
Knew it as well, didn't he? Yeah. It's been physical, Matt, but I think the referee I think's pulled out 4 yellows now, hasn't he? Something like that. And the game's never run away from Darren Ingram.
No, and there hasn't been that malicious intent in any of the challenges either. Even there, his foot's firmly on the ground, it's low. Okay, it's a poor challenge, but it's not reckless, it's certainly not malicious.
But it does give Manchester United a free kick and a chance to settle the tie.
And if you're going to put it down, what players of that ability stood over it? There's not many other places you put it than where it's sat at the moment. Opens up both sides of the goal. Pickford has to back his wall, but that goal seems awfully big when you've got players of quality stood over it, knowing that they can dip this over the wall. They're far enough out, they can take the wall out of the equation.
He's not happy with the wall, is he? There's a player standing well offside. Maguire is in front of the Everton wall. Ganacho's to the left there. Rashford winds up to strike it. Keeper touches it just to make sure it's going over Pickford.
Again, another one he should save down the middle. Can't gamble on allowing that one to go over. Any sort of width gives him more of a problem.
Well, he has done well. Not spectacularly well, but he's done his job in that Everton goal, beaten twice though. Once by his own player, Connor Cody, and once by Anthony in the opening 3 minutes. Cody had equalised at the right end. Fernandes with the corner. Full on there by Fred. Shaw's underneath that. 30 seconds to go, plus I'm being told 6 minutes of time for stoppages. Here's Fernandes. And back by McNeil. What's again? Cody for Everton. Confirmation of the stoppage time. Gordon is still finding spaces. Doucouré's done well since he came on. Gray goes inside to get the shot away. And it's smothered by David De Gea.
Needs to go the other way. Needs to have the goalkeeper stretched to his right-hand side, just snatches across it, maybe just touches it with the standing foot as well. Takes the pace off the ball. Been excellent though. It's looked sharp. They're going to be vulnerable at the back now. They've gone to a back four, Everton. That's okay. Going to take some chances at this stage, get some bodies forward.
To McNeil. Just again. McNeil has forced the corner. knocking on the door, but they're not out of this tie quite yet. Murray Gray with it. Calvert-Lewin is in the middle. Cody is just behind him. And Nana's there too. To the far post it goes. Here's Godfrey. United has stretched, so they're queuing up at the far post there. And one or two Everton players are appealing. For a corner, I think. Nothing more.
McTominay does really well. It's a fighting ball. His initial touch lets him down. That's horrible when you're stretching. McTominay does really well. Probably does brush his back.
(2-1) to Manchester United. Everton have one ruled out for offside in the build-up. On by Rashford. You've been the game's best player for you, Rashford?
His quality has shone through when he's had the ball. I think United, by their own high standards of recent times, have not been particularly good. They've lacked a little bit of sharpness, had a dominated possession, but actually the final passes, he says as Rashford wraps it up. Good cover, great energy late on. Godfrey again, doing what I'm sure he wished he'd done after 4 minutes or so. Look at that pace. That's fitness levels abounding to get back there. Yeah, I mean, Rashford is a threat and he can play all across that front line and he integrates well and mixes well with the players. So he's been excellent.
Here's a goal to keep the run going. He scored 4 in their last 4, netting in each of them. He's forced a corner off Gordon. And they'll take their time. How much time does he have to turn things around at Everton? They're winning 8, this will be 6 defeats in 8. Having won away from home since they triumphed at St Mary's in Southampton the 1st of October. And Southampton at home is must-win for them in their next league game.
It's a different type of pressure.
Fernandes has taken that down brilliantly. I don't think he was looking for Ganacho, I think he was trying to spin it in. Lost his bearings a bit.
Yeah, he wasn't aware that he could have taken the touch forward. That touch is great. He takes another one and runs forward. A real threat for him. Yeah, Everton's problem is going to be go to Goodison Park again. You have that expectation of the fans and you've got to go and attack. Okay, here, I mean, largely they've been dominated. They've had good spells, but they've had to sit in and they've given up a lot of possession. Grown into the game for sure, but when you actually have to get on the front foot and go and win games, difficult. And as much as we talk about Frank and what can he do, can he do it with this personnel? You'd have to say the chances of that are probably slim.
Here's Garnacho, chased by Godfrey, took an extra stride. Did Godfrey make contact? He did. It's a penalty, but Everton will see that as soft. Garnacho with the run, took an extra stride, might have been going out of play. But Godfrey got very, very tight to him and a penalty has been given. And there's not too many protests back there.
He just does brilliant, gets his line just right because he goes across, a little bit of contact, but it's the fact that he's clever. This is the awareness, that natural instinct. He gets across. The first claw is going to be the one. It's that second little bit of contact. Once you've got yourself ahead, I think where the referee's giving this decision from, that looks like a penalty to the referee. Every single occasion. Not the most contact, but certainly enough.
The more you see it, the more you realise that Darren England has got it right. He certainly didn't complain, really, Godfrey. And Rashford does have this chance then to keep the run going. Looking for his 13th goal of the season. And his 5th in a run of scoring in 5 consecutive games. FA Cup winner 2016. He hopes Silverware is coming back. He's up against his England squad colleague. They've been smiling at each other throughout the game because once or twice Rashford has been denied by Pickford. This to see Manchester United into round 4. Might be the last kick of the game. Standing side on. Rashford. And Manchester United are safely through. It hasn't always been an easy night for them, but Marcus Rashford, with his 5th in 5 games, makes sure the victory is theirs by 3 goals to 1.
Going to look more comfortable than it's actually been. Well, I suppose they've dominated without being excellent, but the best sides always find a way to progress. They've done that. Certainly not full recovery for Everton by any stretch. Something to build on in terms of at least showing a little bit of grit and determination and some moments of teamwork that have been very good. It's still Manchester United that progress. And I can't imagine Frank's going to be sleeping much easier today, even off the back of this sort of improvement that he's seen in his side.
First penalty for him this season. Has scored big ones in the past for Manchester United from the spot. And that's Manchester United through then. The final whistle goes. They were 1-0 up with Rashford's cross tucked in by Anthony after just 3 minutes. Connor Cody levelled after a howler by goalkeeper David De Gea at his near post. Cody then put through his own net to give United the lead early in the second half, and Rashford made sure. Your overall thoughts, Matt?
From a pressure situation for Everton, they'll take some positives, but the league games they've got coming up will obviously define their system, and it's a horrible situation to find themselves in. And unfortunately, you don't win games by just sitting in and defending.
Everton fans, enough is enough. They want the board out, they want new owners in. Don't think that'll happen. But Frank Lampard's face there told a story. Grim-faced he was. Everton's misery continues, and Manchester United have won this one by 3 goals to 1.